Hello and welcome. As you probably guessed, I am MotherAzure, but you can also call me Maria. I am back again with another pick a card, and today's video is going to be about whether you should stay or you should go. Now, this video is specifically, I'm going to go through where the situation is at right now to make sure that it resonates with your situation so you pick the right pile. In case it doesn't in the pile you pick, you feel free to pick another one or just leave the video, whatever you want to do. And then I'm also going to look at how to change the current future outcome based on the present. Because the thing with the universe and how things work, basically, is that every action carries a consequence, right? And every action is going to change the outcome a little bit in some way, okay? So this is based on the present moment, doing exactly what you're doing right now. So we're going to look at how to change the future outcome that's based on what's happening at this moment, in case you would like to do that. And also I'm going to look at just the actual outcome for leaving versus staying. So we're going to look at that separately as well. And you're free to pick whatever you want, because that's the thing that I want to do with this reading. I just want to guide you. I don't want to explicitly tell you what you should choose, because your situation is personal and it's always up to you, okay? I'm also going to be using dice to give you some numbers, because maybe that would be an extra message for you. But that's basically what I'm going to be doing, all right? So without further ado, let's get into your piles. So for pile 1, you have the scissors. For pile 2, you have the peace sign. And for pile 3, you have the car. Hello, if you pick pile 1 with the scissors, that is your reading. So I'm going to place these right here for a second, but from the beginning, I wanted to interpret the charms, but I didn't tell you that, so you would just pick with your intuition. I didn't tell you that in the beginning. But I wanted to interpret a little bit based on the charm itself. So based on this one, if you picked the scissors, considering the scissors are closed as well, I feel like you want to leave, you want to give an end to this situation, but you are holding off until you have more information in some way, because the scissors are closed. So that means you're not actually ready to cut anything, but it's like at the forefront of your mind, okay? So that's my interpretation for that charm. Obviously, this one is indicating more that you want to leave right now, in a way, because it's scissors, it's cutting something. But let's get into the rest of your reading. Now, this is your only oracle that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to look at it right now, I think. No, actually, I'm going to shuffle your tarot first. So we're going to look at where the situation is at right now. We're going to look at this first. That was pre-shuffled before I started the reading. So I'm going to use the Tarot del Toro to see where this is going right now. Where a situation is going, like, right at this moment, okay? Let's see. If you want to skip the shuffling, I'm gonna put a timestamp in the description, but it probably won't be too long. So let's see where this situation is going for pile 1. Where is it going right now? What's the current situation? Ace of Goblets, which is the Ace of Cups. 10 of Wands. Ooh. I'm going to pick this one because I only wanted to use 3. I'm looking because these are not exactly reversible. That is the 4 of Wands, though. I'm going to look at it because it came up. I just wanted to use 3. But the 4 of Wands is talking about usually a celebration, but I also see it as something that you have built with someone else, something stable. And considering we have the Ace of Cups right here, it's likely that this has to do with a relationship of some sort, or just with you and someone else that share an emotional bond. This doesn't have to be romantic. I'm just mentioning it because it's here. So there are emotions involved. I'm hearing that specifically you think that cutting the situation, leaving, would be the best choice for everyone involved, but you're still holding off because there are emotions, but also because you feel like you don't want to make an impulsive decision. So it's kind of like you're waiting. You're telling yourself that you're waiting for more information, and you may be, but there's also emotions involved, and you don't want to actually leave because it hurts you. The idea of leaving this person or the situation hurts you, okay? So this is another tarot deck that I don't know why I started shuffling it right now, because I just wanted to look at these first. So this is the one that I'm going to use to see the actual outcome of leaving versus staying, okay? So this is going to be the actual outcome of this for you, because the thing with these situations is that ultimately you should probably pick what's going to be best for you, because if you choose something for the sake of someone else, you are probably not going to be happy or fulfilled or feel good about yourself because of it in the long run, okay? So where's this going right now? So you got an ace and a 10 of wands. So this is telling me that even though in the beginning the situation was promising in some way, and maybe emotionally I'm hearing exciting or fulfilling in a way. I was going to say fulfilling, but I heard exciting. There's a lot that has accumulated over time. And right now you feel like you're like one minor inconvenience away from just bursting. And because that's the thing with the 10 of wands. The 10 of wands is carrying so many wands that you literally can't do it anymore. So you're reaching your breaking point. And that's what I feel right here, especially with this depiction of the Ace of Cups. Even though this is a good card, this is spilling like through a hole, I suppose, at the bottom of this skull vase, whatever this is supposed to be. So it's like, it's so much that it's overflowing, but this is also the case in the sense of, so there was enough in this cup to fulfill emotionally, but there were also other things in that cup that are kind of overfilling the glass in a bad way, if that makes sense. So it's like a snowball effect. So it starts tiny, and then it becomes larger and larger and larger until it just collides with something. That's the energy that this is giving me, and it started good because this is an Ace of Cups. It's good. It's an amazing card to get. But with this one next to it, it's like this situation is not it's become a burden for you and whoever else is involved. And it's with the Two of Pentacles as the last card here, even though I'm not, like, I look at the sequence of cards, I don't always though, but here I want to look at it because it's like where it's going. So with the Two of Pentacles, for some reason, this gave me the energy of you and this, because this is most likely about a person. Like, I have to be honest. If that doesn't resonate for you, know that it's probably not your pile, I suppose. But if something else resonates probably for you, I'm just seeing the energy that I'm getting the most. So for some reason, even though the Two of Pentacles, it's like the two pentacles are basically the same. For some reason, this card is telling me that you and this other person, or you versus whatever this is, you have become separate entities. So it's almost like, I mean, you always were, but it's like you are not. It's almost like if I were to explain this in the sense of a relationship, because I'm going to use it like this. So let's say that in the beginning you guys did everything together, you spent a lot of time together, but over time maybe there were fights, or there was just distance or something that started accumulating over time. And now at this point, it's like you feel completely separate, like you're leading completely different lives. So it's like you're only together for the sake of being together. There's nothing like, there are no shared activities. There's not a lot of communication, not a lot of enjoyment together, because I feel like, especially with the Ace of Goblets here, in the beginning, it was very sweet and nice, but because the Ace of Cups is a beginning, it's usually, if I were to say it in the sense of a relationship, it feels like a honeymoon phase, and that's okay. That happens with every relationship of all sorts, I would say. But towards the end here, it's like you feel like you're separate, because if you look at this depiction here, in the Two of Pentacles, usually you see the two pentacles joined together in like a figure 8 and an infinity symbol, and it's being juggled like that. But here it's separate, and also it's like a back and forth. So it's like you're going on a cycle where maybe it feels good in the beginning at some points, and then it's like you can barely bear it at other points. So it's like, I'm not going to say that there's nothing good to this situation, because there is, obviously, in some way, because we have this here. But it's almost like there are too many things that have accumulated and will continue to accumulate for it to be enjoyable anymore at a certain point. So it's like you can keep doing this, but you can't extend it for much longer. I'm gonna look at, oh, that's interesting. I keep trying to give you this because I feel like maybe you are a little bit impatient about knowing the outcome for leaving versus staying. But yeah, let's just get that for you. What is the outcome for leaving for pile 1 versus the outcome of staying? Leaving, we have this one. What is this? Queen of Blades. That is the Queen of Swords. And what if you stay? What happens for pile? See? Do you see that as the 10 of Pentacles? 10 of Wands. It's the 10 of Wands, not the 10 of Pentacles. If it was the 10 of Pentacles, it would be good. But you see, you got the same card. So if you stay, like I said, it's just going to get worse in the sense of the burden that you feel. So you're gonna keep feeling exhausted. You're gonna keep feeling... It's like you are so separate in this moment that you wouldn't even be able to maybe communicate honestly and reach an agreement or be able to fix the situation and compromise, right? So it's staying right now as everything is not a good is not gonna lead to a good outcome. It's gonna keep, like, if you stay, everything's gonna be the same right now. So it says where it's going right now. So it's going towards that 10 of Wands. It's going there, and if you stay, that's where it's gonna go. And versus leaving, now the Queen of Swords, sometimes I see people not interpret this in a good way. However, the Queen of Swords for me is talking about, she's a very independent queen, right? You don't have to be a woman at all. So this is independence. And even though the Queen of Swords is sometimes unemotional, some people might call her manipulative and whatever. But in this situation, I feel like for you, this is gonna lead to, I'm gonna say, like, a lot more confidence in yourself, but it's like, it feels like freedom in a way, because the Queen of Swords is free. They all are, but especially the Queen of Swords, because she is not afraid to cut when she needs to, right? So I feel like this is going to lead to a lot more personal fulfillment for you, and a lot of mental, much more mental stability or mental calmness, if you would like to call it. So like that burden is going to be taken away, because like what's creating the burden is the dynamic of this situation. So it's what's happening in the situation, is not that it's the situation itself it's bad. It's just what's going on, or better said, what's not going on, right? So I'm hearing that you feel unappreciated. And the reason I'm shuffling this one right now is because I want to see how to change the current future outcome, but I feel like we know, like, to change this, you can leave, because it's always going to stay the same way. But you know what? I'm going to change what I said in the beginning. Let's just see some further advice in this situation using this before I get your oracle. Any further advice for pile 1? The 8 of Swords. Yeah, you feel stuck. The 9 of Pentacles. You don't feel good right now. But it's like you're trying your best, because I'm hearing like that you don't want to give up on this. Maybe this is something that you have worked on for a while. If it's a relationship, it's someone that you have been with for a while, or like even maybe it's not because of the person themselves. It's more like because you feel like you have invested so much in it that it feels very disappointing to just walk away and leave. But sometimes it's okay. Like, it's sometimes necessary to leave. There's nothing else that you can do here. And considering that this is what's going to happen if you stay, I mean, it's right there. So the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles, I'm putting that there as in, like, I said that I was gonna do it for how to change the future outcome, but it's like a stupid thing to ask. Considering what the reading is gonna be about, that's like, I didn't think that one through. But they fixed me up with this. So, as general advice, I feel like here with the 8 of Swords versus the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, like, it's a woman that is very independent. The person in that card has everything she worked for. She is fulfilled in that herself, and the only reason that is not the 10 of Pentacles is because the 10 of Pentacles is more about having everything. Like, you have your cake and you eat it too, but you also share it with other people, and it's also about legacy and family and all of that, right? So the 9 of Pentacles is more like a single card. Like, you have all of that, but you're doing it by yourself. You are not sharing that specifically with other people, or at least not mainly with other people. Or it doesn't really have to do with a family and another person and whatever. This is about you, okay? So it's like you have to break free from this, because I'm hearing like maybe you have said like it's not bad, like this, it's not bad, like I can deal with it. But like the thing is that maybe it's not bad and it could be worse, but why? Like, think about why you think that to begin with. Why do you have to stay in something that's bad? Because it could be worse. Like, why would you need to do that? Who taught you that you need to do that? It's okay to walk away. You deserve better. Like, even if, let's say that this is a relationship, excuse me, because I forgot to lower my volume in my phone. Sorry about that. So, like, even if you are in a situation with someone, or just any situation where everything is meh, it doesn't mean that you have to stay because it's not abusive or because it's not horrible. If it's meh and you're not feeling fulfilled, you don't have to stay just because it could be worse. No, you deserve better, okay? So let me look at your oracle and get you the dice just to wrap up your reading. So let me look at this one. This says, the end of a tough cycle approaches. I pre-shuffle cards to not stay too long shuffling on camera, because it's like, it's a little bit boring to see me shuffle and like you would have to skip it. So like, what's the point of it? But this is why I wish that I shuffled on camera sometimes, but I don't learn my lesson, but you know? So because I mentioned the cycle. So it's like you're stuck on a cycle of back and forth between the, oh, it's okay. And then it's like, it's too much for me to deal with, or the burden, right? So with the full moon in Capricorn, you are ending that cycle. I feel like you're very likely to leave, to walk away from the situation, because you can recognize, and that's the thing, I know you can recognize that it is not serving you. I know that you can recognize that it would be better if you left. I said that in the beginning, but it's like you are still holding on. Maybe you needed the outside validation before doing it, because I think that there's a sense of feeling guilty if you walk away, like I said, or disappointment, or yeah, guilty is the right word as well, because it feels like you don't want to hurt this other person either, because they're not bad, right? So maybe you needed like an outside push, like a little push to pick this, to leave. And you know what? That's okay. Let me get you some numbers, and the numbers, you can look them up individually. You can add them up, try any combination of whatever comes up for you. You know, look it up in numerology and stuff like that. See maybe there's like an extra message for you, okay? So let me get you, it may be loud, so I'm just warning you. So 1, 5, and 6. You can do 1, 5, 6, 516, any combination of that. You can look them up individually. You can add them up. So you can add them up and reduce them. So like 6 plus 6 is 12. You reduce it, it's a 3, right? So I'm just letting you know how kind of that works. I'm not going to give you like an actual interpretation because I am not a numerologist. Numerology, I don't know. I don't know about that, so I don't feel comfortable telling you what it is. So just look it up if you feel called to do so, okay? So I hope that brought you some clarity. That's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do love my others up at the channel over there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey and much, much love to you. Bye-bye. Hello, if you with pile 2 with this peace sign, it is your reading. So I wanted to, I didn't say this in the beginning because I didn't want you to pick just because you thought it was going to be a good message. I wanted to interpret the charm a little bit regarding your situation before I get into the cards. So with the peace sign right here, what this is telling me is that whether you leave or you stay, it feels like with the peace sign is like you want to pick what's best for everyone involved. So if I feel like almost you may be putting what you want and your well-being to the side, because I'm hearing the word unselfish. So it's like you are not taking into consideration maybe what you want as much as you should, or maybe as much as other people have told you should, because you're thinking about everyone else. And you don't want conflict with that peace sign right there. You don't want the conflict. So you're trying to pick what would, I'm hearing, this is a very specific type of wording, I suppose, because I've never heard this before. But it's saying you want to do what's gonna stir up the least chaos. Stir up the least chaos. That's very interesting. A very interesting choice of words that they just gave me. So I'm going to put your oracle, which was pre-shuffled, pre-picked, over here. I'm going to look at that later. But the first thing that I'm going to ask is where the situation is going right now. And then we're going to look at whether the outcome of staying or leaving based on these. I said in the beginning that I was going to see how to change the current future outcome, but then when I did pile 1, I was like, okay, that's redundant, so I'm simply going to ask for further advice regarding the situation, okay? So let's start with where the situation is going right now for pile 2. Any advice, any information on the situation that may be relevant to help you realize if it is the right reading for you, the right pile, right? So if you want to skip my shuffling, you can do that. I'm going to probably put maybe a timestamp in the description. Sometimes it's not needed, but we'll see. So please give me one card at a time. There we go. So you got the Chariot. Where's this going right now? And any relevant information about this. The Knight of Swords. Maybe you didn't think that I saw that card. That's a 3 of Swords, but it didn't come out. It was just sticking out. So I just wanted to see what it was and move it. That's a 3 of Swords. There's a lot of heartbreak, pain involved here. I was going to say that maybe this is not something that you thought you would have to choose. So this probably caught you off guard a lot. That's a 10 of Cups. Okay. So where's this going right now? This is actually a good thing. Like right now as it is, it's looking pretty good, especially with this 10 of Cups. But I have to point out here that with the Chariot and the Knight of Swords, this is movement. This is a fast movement. And when I ask whether you should be leaving or staying, this is talking to me about either leaving or making very important changes in order to stay. We're going to look at the actual outcome of leaving versus staying for you to bring you more clarity to see what will be the best choice for you. But I want to point it out because these are movement cards. these are not cards that I would typically interpret in a sense of stay right where you are because they're moving, right? So this is more about leaving. But whatever comes up later, right now, it's moving towards a pretty good outcome with the 10 of Cups, because the 10 of Cups is emotional fulfillment. It's usually a card that signifies marriage or commitment. So it's the culmination of the suit of Cups. One thing though here with the Knight of Swords, I did say in the beginning that maybe you're kind of considering the situation. That was a fucking mess, okay? This was a fucking mess over here. So maybe you were considering to see what would be the best outcome for everyone. But I feel like it's almost like you're agonizing over it so much that you're gonna reach a point where you're gonna be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever I want or something like that. Because I don't feel like you... It's not that you are not diplomatic or that you don't think about other people. It's that it's like maybe you think about other people too much, and you also, and at some point you reach your limit, and then it's like you almost torture yourself overthinking, but then you say fuck it and take a impulsive decision, and which is not necessarily bad all the time, but I feel like at the end sometimes you regret doing that because you wish you could have thought it through a little bit more. Maybe let's see what the actual outcome for leaving versus staying is going to be. So for leaving, you got the 6 of Wands. Is that really good? See, let's see for the outcome for staying in this situation. Oh my gosh. That is the 9. Nope. Can I please have one more? That is the 9 of Pentacles, but I want one card. Huh? With the Devil underneath? Are you serious? This is interesting. Because the thing with the 9 of Pentacles is that the 9 of Pentacles is, in a way, a certain level of fulfillment. Is not like the 10 of Pentacles, because the 10 of Pentacles is about having your wealth and sharing it with others and legacy and family and all of that. Well, the 9 of Pentacles is more like you have worked for this and now you get to enjoy it yourself. So it's like a single card. But having the Devil underneath is so weird to me, because staying would maybe seem good at first, but there's something behind it that may sneak up on you. Because the thing with the Devil is that the Devil ties you down. That the Devil is a card about vices. But if you look at the Devil card in Tarot, the Devil has the people in the Lovers card tied down by their necks with a chain, even though the chain is loose. But they feel like they're tied down. So the Devil represents basically all the bad things that could possibly happen here. So it's weird that it was literally hiding behind the 9 of Pentacles. I'm going to put them back, and I'm going to shuffle one more time to see what the outcome for staying is. But I feel like these two coming together, even though I'm going to put them back, it's saying that staying may seem like a good choice at first, but you may regret the decision later. Let's see. Okay, so please just one card for what's the outcome for staying in the situation for pile 2. 9 of Cups. Interesting. You got 2 9s, but it's weird to me that the Devil came up under it. So the 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment. It's immediately before the 10 of Cups. I feel like this is such a weird... It's confusing. This is a confusing situation. Maybe that's why you're trying to see what the best outcome for everyone will be, because when you look at it from a personal point of view, it's very difficult for you to figure out, like, what would be best for you to do here. Can you please give me some advice for pile 2? Because, like, pile 1 was a very clear leave, but for you, it's like leaving would be good. You would come out victorious, because the thing with the 6 of Wands is like it's victory. It's coming victorious from battle, but it's also movement in a way. So me personally, I would say leaving seems like the best outcome here, but you also have that Nine of Cups over here, and then you got the Nine of Pentacles. What worries me is the Devil there, because the Devil came up under the Nine of Pentacles. I was going to keep the Nine of Pentacles, but the Devil was underneath it. So it's like, there's something fishy there. But again, this is what I would choose. I just want to give you an overview of what could happen, so you can choose by yourself. I can't tell you what to do. I'm simply interpreting, okay? So let's see. Can you please give me some advice for pile 2 regarding the situation before I look at your oracle? King of Cups. Okay. The Valet of Wands is the Page of Wands. That is weird. Could you possibly be dealing with 2 people? Because the court cards, maybe that's why it's so confusing to me. The court cards are usually, they can be interpreted as normal messages, but the court cards usually represent actual people. So I wonder, let me know if this is for you. I wonder if you're dealing with 2 people and the leaving versus staying here has to do with picking one person over the other one. So like one person will be this outcome and another person will be this other outcome. Because the King of Cups is, you can see the King of Cups filling up his own cup. So this is someone that is like emotionally available, represents a certain level of emotional fulfillment, but also emotional maturity. While the Valet of Wands, the Page of Wands, is beginning his journey as a page. There's excitement and there's what's the word that I'm looking for? Potential for creativity, potential for vitality, potential for a lot of things, but it's just beginning his journey. So he is not it doesn't mean that he's bad. I'm just comparing the 2 characters here. So interesting. I'm hearing something about a collector. I don't know if someone here collects stuff or they work like at a tax collector or some shit. That's interesting. Can you further give me advice here on what's going on for pile 2? Because this is weird. Okay. What's something that would help pile 2 make the best decision for themselves here? Because I think that at the end of the day, what matters is that you pick what's going to be best for you. Okay. Even though it's good to consider other people, if you consider other people all the time and you don't consider yourself, you risk being unhappy. Okay. So what's something that pile 2 needs to know that would help them pick better? Temperance. So here's the thing with temperance. Temperance is not exactly choosing anything. Temperance is managing 2 things. Temperance is talking about being calm. Like, if you look at the original like Rider-Waite's tarot and you look at the temperance card has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, and has 2 cups of water. And it's kind of, the angel is kind of managing the water, making sure nothing spills, just going from 1 cup to the other. So there's a certain level of, something that could help you for this. They're saying to, instead of thinking about all of this constantly, to sit down and maybe meditate on this, quiet down your mind as much as you possibly can, and also see the situation for what it really is, because there's something that came through with that Page of Wands that I think is very important. Instead of looking at potential, look at the person or the situation as it is. And when you look at it as it is, can it fulfill you? Can it give you the 10 of Cups as it is? if the answer is no, then you're not looking at the reality of the situation in that moment. You're looking at the potential the situation could have, but is not promised to have. And the reason that's not always bad, because sometimes you have to see potential in order to create something. But when we're talking about people, because I feel like these are two people, like I said, if these are two people for you, when you look at someone's potential over what they're offering you in the moment, it can be a dangerous game, because you can't end up fully disappointed, but also never leaving the person because there's potential or they're promising you things, but they never fulfill it, right? So it's almost like I'm hearing like a throne of lies. I don't know if that sounds like a book. Is it a book? I don't know. If it's a book, maybe there's a dynamic in that book that's similar to yours, but I'm not sure if that's a book at all. So what would help you in the situation, like I said, both outcomes here for leaving or staying, they're good in some way, right? But the one that came up about staying is what worries me. So because of the devil. So let's say that you are with, if this is about a person, let's say you're with this person and choosing this outcome would mean staying with them. With the devil coming up, the devil can signify toxicity. So maybe they're saying that if this is a relationship, this one is most likely to turn sour on you in the long run. Which I think that it can, like, I don't think there's a right or wrong choice. They simply lead to different paths. So maybe that's why this reading is so confusing to me, and probably it's such a confusing decision for you as well, because everything looks okay, right? But I think that they're giving you a small warning with the staying one here because of that devil, right? So yeah, see, I just went like this and I lifted like half the deck, and that's the sun. So they're giving you a sneak peek into the future of this one. So they're kind of like, they're saying that is the Seven of Swords. I don't usually do that, but sometimes I pay attention when I grab a deck and I just split it and look at the cards that's there, because I'm not fully conscious when I do that. I'm looking at something else and I just move. I can't explain it. It just happens. So with the sun here, they're giving you clarity. There may be deception involved with this situation if you choose to stay. So they're giving you clarity about that. So maybe it's saying like, staying can feel like your wish come true with this person or in this situation, but eventually it's gonna turn out not to be. So that's maybe why I said, like, as soon as this came out, I'm hearing sirens. Sirens are a warning. Just like I pay attention when I hear warnings in this reading. So what I was gonna say is that as soon as this came out, I immediately felt like leaving would be the best outcome, because these two cards are about movement, and when you stay, you don't really move, right? Usually. So I think they're warning you about this one, just letting you know. So it's still up to you, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing. So let's look at your oracle real quick. It says nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. Wow, that's very helpful. I mean, obviously, if you're here, you're asking, of course nothing is set in stone, but fuck. I think that what's saying here as well is that, I mean, it's obvious what the message is here with this one, but oof, my god, my dice fell all the way on my computer and it landed on the 5. The 5 is about change. So I was going to say that there was a specific phrase that came to mind as soon as my dice fell, and it was like, you can't create stability on unstable ground. Okay, so if either of these situations, if there's nothing stable, if this person is over the situation, but I'm seeing mostly a person, so I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to interpret this as best as I can. It's flaky. It's like they don't one day they're here and then they're there. Like there's a lot of excitement when they come in, but then when they leave, it's like, so it's very uncertain. If there's uncertainty, you can't create this 10 of cups with that person. That's what came to mind. So it landed on the 5. The 5 was about change. So let me get you some numbers that you can look up. Just look at the 5 as well, but I'm actually going to move these. So I'm warning you, this may be a little bit loud, okay? 1, 3, and 4. You can look up any combination of these numbers. You can look them up individually. You can add them up and reduce them. So you can go 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 4 equals 8. So you can look at 8 as well. I'm not going to tell you what they mean because I am not a numerologist. Numerologist? I can't say that. I always fuck up that word. Anyway, so I don't feel comfortable telling you what they mean because I don't have enough knowledge about that. So just look it up if you feel called to do that, okay? So I really wish you find, like, they're giving you a certain level of clarity, but I really hope that you pick the right choice for you, because this was a very confusing reading, and I can only imagine how you're feeling just based off of that. But like I said, focus on what's here in the, what's going on in the here and now, not on the potential of either of these things, right? So how does it look right now? If leaving to be with another person or with a new situation is the most stable option, or the one that is actually good right now, the one that actually is good right now, go with it, because the potential is not going to it may pay off, but it also may not. Okay, so I think that's what the important thing here is, that it's a maybe. It's not promised. So that's why nothing is yet set in stone. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do all of my updates about the channel over there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much, much love to you. Bye-bye. Hello, if you pick pile 3 with the card is your reading. So I didn't say this in the beginning. Holy shit, I can't pick it up. So I didn't say this in the beginning because I wanted you to pick with your intuition and not based on the fact that I was going to interpret the charm. So this charm with the car, regarding your situation, is how I'm going to interpret this. You may be having a hard time leaving or wanting to leave, because there's a lot of history with either a person or with the situation. So this is something that you have been connected to for a long time, and it feels painful or almost impossible to leave, but there's something telling you to leave in a way, or like that would be a good choice, because otherwise why would you be here, right? If you were fully 100% set on staying, you wouldn't be here in this reading. So I'm gonna look at your oracle later. It was pre-shuffled and pre-picked before I started the reading. If you are curious about how I shuffle, you can look at that in my description. I forgot to say that in every other group, but anyway, so I'm gonna shuffle. If you want to skip my shuffling, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna put a timestamp in case I spend too long shuffling, just so you know. But let's see where this is going now. I changed a little bit what I said at the beginning. I fucked up and I said that I was gonna look at how to change the current future outcome, but that's redundant considering what the reading is gonna be about. So I'm gonna be asking where this is going right now, any information about the situation that's gonna help you figure it out if this is the right pile for you. And then I'm gonna use this deck to look at further advice regarding this. Okay, so let's see, where is this going right now? Any information on pile 3's situation? The Hierophant. Yep, that is so perfect, because the thing with the Hierophant is that the Hierophant talks about tradition. The Hierophant talks about conformity. So, and usually I always see the Hierophant as someone who is upholding not upholding. It's more like the Hierophant carries the responsibility of their predecessors. So because it's a pope, so the Hierophant is a pope. So there's a certain role that the Hierophant has to play, and there's not a lot of, I'm hearing wiggle room. So you also got the King of Blades, that's the King of Swords. And Death. That makes sense. Okay, so where is this going? It's most likely that this is going to end in a way. Like right now, it's saying that it's reaching a conclusion, and it's expected. Like the reason you're here is like you expect this to end in a way and for you to have to leave, because Death is a card that speaks of change. The thing with the change that Death brings is that it's expected on a certain level, because we always know, like we know that the one thing that's certain in life is death. We all know that we're going to die in a way, right? But I'm not saying that you're going to die. I'm just explaining what the card basically means. So this is something that we know is going to happen. It doesn't make it any less painful though, or any less scary, right? Because death of anything, because it's not talking about physical death necessarily, mostly is almost always not talking about physical death, just so you know, is that it's something that you, when the death card comes about, it talks about a change, but you can't go back anymore to what was before the change, to what was before death got there. Okay, you can't ever go back, because death is final. Okay, like I said, expected, but it's final and it's necessary. So like this is where it's going. So this situation, whatever this is coming to an end, regardless of the history or anything that you had before in this situation with someone or by yourself or whatever the situation is, right? Because I'm leaving it kind of open, because it's going to be different for everyone, right? But also with the King of Swords, I usually wouldn't interpret the King of Swords like this, but I assume that this is why they made me choose this deck. Because I'm feeling a certain level of exhaustion in a way with the role that you have to play in the situation, whatever it is. So it's like at this point, like when the death card comes, when the end comes to the situation, you're not even going to feel that bad about it because you are so exhausted already by it, right? So that's an interesting message with the King of Swords. So this is going like, even if this has been predetermined for you, even if this is something that you have been committed to for a long time, it's still coming to an end. And I can't help but notice that in the Hierophant and in the Death card, there are two people. So like there are two people at the feet of the Hierophant, and they're kind of praying and maybe even pleading. But in the Death card, you have a king and a queen down here. So like, the thing with the Death card as well is that it's regardless of your status, regardless of whether you are a king or not, it's not going to spare you. So things end anyway, right? I feel like it's very cryptic because I'm talking about death, but it's not actual death, okay? Don't worry, you're not gonna die. But it's like, even if you think of this status that you have, of this role that you have to play, it's not going to be enough to stop the end of the situation, okay? Because it's like, it's inevitable, right? That's the thing, it's inevitable. And the thing with that charm as well is that that is from a supernatural bracelet that I bought. So that's Sam & Dean's Chevrolet car, this one. So they did a lot in that car. They went everywhere on that car. I think it was their father's. So it's like, it meant a lot to them. And they were almost always together, but sometimes they had to separate because of things that happened. Even though they always came back, like in the end of the series, they had to go their different ways because that's what life is, right? Sometimes we have to part ways with people and situations, okay? So I'm going to look at what the actual outcome for you for leaving versus staying is going to be, and I'm going to use this other deck. What's the outcome for staying, for leaving for pile 3? What's the outcome for leaving for pile 3? The Ace of Swords. When I was shuffling, like in between takes for your reading, when I finish a reading, I shuffle the deck if I'm going to be using the same deck, and shuffling on camera. And one of the first cards that I saw when I started shuffling before I started your reading that caught my eye was the Ace of Swords, but in the other deck. So this is the outcome if you leave. So let's see what's the outcome if they stay. I don't know why I just saw the Tower card. It may not come out. What? That's the Page of Pentacles. Okay, hold on. The outcome if you stay. That's a weird way to... Can I get a clarification on that outcome? Because when I get court cards as outcomes, it like trips me up a bit. Because court cards, I usually see them as people. So I'm like, what? What's the outcome if they stay? The Emperor. Oh, that almost didn't help at all, but thank you. Sometimes that happens, okay? So, let's look at the outcome for leaving first, and I'm gonna get into this mess in a second. So, for leaving, the Ace of Swords is a new beginning, and I think that makes sense with the Death card here, where it's going. So, leaving the situation and basically letting it end. I think that for you, maybe it's not actually about leaving. It's about letting it take its natural course and end when it's supposed to. So, you're gonna leave in a way, but you're not gonna force it. That's the thing. I don't feel like you're gonna force it. So it's like when the time comes to leave, you will leave. So that's what the leaving here would entail. It wouldn't just be about grabbing your things and leaving and whatever, right? It's not gonna be... I don't feel like it's gonna be too harsh for you, even though death is kind of unexpected. But it's like the acceptance that comes with the death card, okay? So if you leave, it's like a new beginning for you, a brand new start. I'm hearing something about authenticity, so maybe it's you leaving is going to lead to you being a more authentic version of yourself, or to expressing yourself better, because the swords are a lot about expressing the self. And it's interesting that this one came up when you got the King of Swords, because I said that with the King of Swords in this deck, I got a certain level of exhaustion coming from you. This like a fresh, clean start where you don't feel like that anymore, okay? So the outcome for staying, this one is fucking me up, so give me a second. So that's the Page of Pentacles. And the Emperor. I don't feel like it's about outcome either. Interesting. So here's the thing. So remember how I said that I feel like you are not going to get up and leave? Just like that. There, you're going to wait for it to end. Yeah. I feel like that was the right thing. That would have been the right thing to say if I was talking about the staying part. Because I am correcting myself because I just got what they mean. So, sorry about that. That happens. I'm human. So, Ace of Blades. This one is leaving, and I feel like it's gonna be about you actually leaving, like right now. Like, you not waiting until the end comes. But with this one, it almost feels more like staying until there's an end. Because the thing with this, how it's here, considering I have the Death card here, I feel like the death is it's almost like an absolute card. Like, this is something that is going to end. Whether you leave right now or you wait for it to end to leave. So you can stay right now. Like, if you choose to stay in this situation, I'm not saying that it's not going to be painful, because I feel like there's a certain level of pain that is going to be here. A certain level of suffering. But it's like, it's going to teach you a lot, because the Page of Pentacles, and this is up to you. I'm just saying what I'm seeing here. I'm not telling you what to choose. It's up to you always, okay? The Page of Pentacles is a student. And I see, well, most of them, like all the pages are in a sense, but I see the Page of Pentacles more as a student, someone that is learning lessons and accumulating things over time. So it's like, with the Emperor here, like, staying is going to be helpful for you, because it's going to help you grow in a way that leaving is not going to. And that doesn't mean that leaving is not gonna make you grow either. It's just gonna make you grow in a different way. Because I feel here, yeah, they just said teach you for the future. That's interesting. This feels very much like, so here's the thing, I feel a little bit weird about using the word unconditional love because I feel like there's a lot of things that are passed off as unconditional love and they're not. They're just enabling. But if I were to say unconditional love, I would think it's about this pile because I feel like there's a lot of understanding here. And when I said that you were likely to wait until the end to stay, I feel like right now you're likely leaning towards staying, like I said in the beginning. It's like you're leaning towards staying until it's time for it to end naturally. Sorry about that, fuck, my throat. So I'm gonna get you some more advice before I get your oracle and use your dice, to give you some numbers. So let me give you some advice. Any advice for pile 3 regarding this situation? 8 of Wands. Okay. So, like, the main thing with your outcomes here is that they're both going to teach you something valuable, but they're different things. And so I don't feel like there's one outcome for you that is better than the other. They're just different, okay? And it's up to you to decide. You got the World. Yeah. So as advice, like, even though you're leaning this way, these two cards coming up as advice, they're almost actually telling you to go right now, to leave. Most of these readings have been about just leaving right now. Because the 8 of Wands is fast movement and the World is an ending, right? So it almost feels like they're telling you that it might be better for you personally to leave right now. But it's also like, again, this is based on right now. This is based on the present, okay? Right now, everything as it is. Maybe leaving is looking at like the best thing for you. Because I'm trying to look at this when I ask for advice from like a higher perspective that is not so personal to you. So, I'm asking my guides and stuff. So, like, this as advice, again, the cycle is gonna end anyway. It's like the natural thing that's supposed to happen. It may also be saying that this is going to happen quicker than you think it is. So, like, maybe the end of the situation that's gonna cause you to leave anyway, even if you stay until then, it's gonna happen faster than you think it's going to. But it feels more like they're saying that leaving here might be best instead of staying until the end for whatever reason. I don't know why exactly, but it is such a complex situation. Like, I'm not confused. It's just that there are so many layers to this. It's like when I peel back a layer, I find another one. I feel like that's how deep this runs. So let me look at your oracle. Yeah. So you got, don't let your past hold you back, South Node. So they're telling you as advice, and this one was also supposed to be advice for you, that it's almost like they're saying that even though staying is going to help you in some way, and it's not necessarily a bad outcome, what seems most favorable for you at the moment is to not let this keep you there for whatever reason. I feel like maybe it's because... That's interesting. So they just said something. It's like you are not meant to stay, but you can. So maybe there's something that is literally in your life path that you put there, or that the universe put there for you as a lesson. So like, this is something that's predetermined. This is something that's supposed to happen, and it's almost like you're supposed to walk away. But you're also not going to be stopped from staying because it's going to be valuable either way. But So this is a difficult message to transmit because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about this. So you know how some people say like you chose your life before you got here, so everything you're going through you picked it for yourself. Yeah, that's a very dangerous narrative because sometimes that can become victim blaming really quickly. From my understanding in this matter is that before we incarnate, we choose the lessons that we are going to learn, but we don't pick how those lessons are going to come about. So let's say that you choose to learn to have patience, right? So, and let's say that someone else does as well. For you, the lesson of patience is going to come through when you have children and you have to be patient with them, and then you learn the lesson of patience. But for someone, let's say that for the other person, they learn that because they develop a mental illness and they have to be patient with themselves. So basically what I'm saying is that you and this other person end up learning the same lesson, but in different ways. So that's what I'm trying to get to, because I don't want you to feel like you brought this upon yourself, and I never want anyone to believe that because it's very dangerous and it's not. I don't think it's the truth, basically. I don't feel like you choose everything that happens to you as it happens to you. Sometimes people choose for you. The lesson is what you can take away from it, and you can choose to learn the lesson or not. So basically what I'm saying is that this lesson about leaving when you know that you're supposed to leave, I feel like that may be the lesson for you. You're supposed to learn it. And that's why this is kind of like predetermined. So like this is an opportunity for you to learn this lesson, right? But it's not going to be the only one either. So you can choose to follow a different path and learn another lesson. And that doesn't mean that you're going to not be fulfilling the lesson you pre-picked for yourself. It just means that you're going to do it at a later moment. Okay. And I just want to make that very clear, because your reading is by far the heaviest in this video, and it's so complex that I'm literally I'm floored, okay, by how complex and deep this is. So I'm gonna get you some numbers. So what they're saying is that what was predetermined for you in terms of this lesson is for you to leave right now that you know that you have to leave, right? But it doesn't mean that saying is the wrong choice, because you're still going to learn something anyway. Because like I said, this doesn't feel like a bad option at all. Like nothing here feels bad or worse than the other. They're just different. And truly nothing is better or worse technically. It really depends on how you see it. But sometimes it's clearer what the best option would be for you. But it's like, it's always your call. But like, especially in this reading, it's especially your call. So this is up to you. And don't feel like you're going to miss out on anything just because you pick one thing over the other. Okay. This is very important for you to understand. Okay. And this is a lesson that's likely coming from, because of your past. This may be a past life, but I don't know. So it may be just from your past in this life. And that's why it's so important for you to learn. But like I said, it doesn't mean that you are not going to learn it ever if you don't go through with it now. Okay. So let me get you some numbers here for you that you can look up. You can look up any combination of the numbers that come up. You can look up the numbers individually, or you can add them up and then reduce them. So let's see what you get. This may be a little bit loud, so I'm just letting you know. You got 1, 3, and 4. Didn't pile 2 get 1, 3, and 4? So if you were called to watch pile 2, I'm pretty sure it was them. I don't remember, but I think it was them. If you were felt called to watch pile 2, go ahead and do that if you want to, because I'm pretty sure they got these same numbers. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Was it them or was it pile 1? I don't remember. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try to remember and write it down next to your reading, because there was one pile that got these same numbers, I think. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Maybe anyway. So you can add these up, like I said, and reduce them. So it's 3 plus 1 equals 4 plus 4 equals 8, so you would look at 8 as well. I am not going to tell you what these mean because I'm not a numerologist, so I don't feel comfortable telling you what they mean. My forte is reading tarot cards and like getting the messages. I'm not good at the numbers. I hate numbers, okay? So I'm not a math person. So if you feel called to look those up, go ahead and do that. And I'm just amazed at this reading. Whatever you choose, just know that it's going to be okay. And I feel like there's a certain level this just came through. So it's like, you don't want to disappoint. So maybe you're someone that is already spiritual. Because I don't think they will make me explain all the thing about the life lesson if you weren't spiritual already. Like pretty spiritual already. So you know about this most likely. You may feel like you choosing for or against this lesson will lead to someone being disappointed in you. Maybe someone in the spiritual plane. They're not. They won't be. Because it's your life, you know? And if they're in the spiritual plane and they're helping you, so like especially if these are your spirit team or a deity or something like that, they know, at least on some level, that being human is difficult. And you have free will. So like I don't think they will be disappointed because that came through. But even if they are, like let's say that they are, unlikely, you know, it's unlikely, but maybe let's say they are, it doesn't matter because it's your life, okay? I just want you to think about that for a second. Because people don't have to agree with your choices, or anyone for that matter. I think that what's most important is that you pick, I've said this in every pile, what's best for you, what you know deep down that's best for you. Because it's your life and yours alone. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say to you. So that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do love my updates about the channel over there. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo and my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey and much, much love to you. Bye-bye.